What's up, Pineapples? Welcome back to my channel. So today I got a new Whoop or Womp for you. So we're gonna figure out if the new Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue foundation is a Whoop or Womp. So before we get started into the video, don't forget to subscribe, become a part of the Pineapple Tribe because it is free $9.99 and I upload as often as I can, so make sure you guys got that bell on. I don't want you guys to miss a video, and my vlog channel is What Would Lizzy Vlog right there. Go watch my vlogs. We are bringing the hair back. I had my air conditioning on, but then you can hear it. So before we get into this foundation, let me tell you about my skin type because this will help. I have a oily T-zone and I have a whole oily face now. I am not normal all around. I am oily. The summer skin is in full effect, like full effect. So I have to be very careful how I prep my face. I have just my SPF Neutrogena on, which is super lightweight, and then I just have the Tasha water cream, and that is it. This did launch 2 weeks ago, I believe, so I went ahead, did my order, and I've been testing this baby out for 1 full week. I think it's just beneficial to not just do a first impression because you can love it that time and the next day you hate it. You put up the video and you're like, wow, what do I do? I just told everybody I love it, but now I hate it. In all different conditions, just hanging out at Disneyland, a half day where it was super hot. This baby comes in 42 shades. I was really happy at that. Definitely just have to have the whole entire range because you guys already know my phrase, give the shade so you don't get the shade. Plain and simple. Now, I will say that this baby was $36, and for me, I don't know. I know Dose of Colors has kind of been in the game for a long time, but I feel like $36 seemed like a little high. I thought maybe like 34 sounds just a little bit better. I mean, every dollar counts for anybody, and also the thing with this is that once it launched on the website, and it's not on Ulta yet, but on August 4th, it's already on Ulta, so I would totally go through Ulta because usually when you're familiar with a brand like say Maybelline, I'm like, oh, I know that, or L'Oreal, I'm sun beige, kind of know your shades. For this, I'm not really familiar with the shades. This is their first foundation, so like I said, I would totally wait until August 4th when it launches on Ulta. It's easier to pick it out, you can return it much easier, but they did have like a little chart that helped a lot. I picked out 2 different shades and I'm really glad I did because I happen to have to do a combination. I don't fit just like one shade. My shade was actually light medium and then medium tan that I'm using today, right? Yeah, so I was kind of scared because I said, man, that light medium looks kind of tan for light medium, and it's so hard just to look at the pictures of like the beautiful models and you're like, wow, they're so pretty, but I can't tell if that's my skin tone or not. It's so hard to pick from a chart because I'm like, I think I look like her, but I kind of look like her too. So I ended up picking 123 medium tan and 120 light medium. I went ahead and picked more warm tones because that's what I usually am, or I'll go for neutral. Let me show you what the bottle looks like. It's a really nice heavy duty glass bottle. So for $36, I will say you are getting a substantial bottle and packaging. This is also the packaging of the box. I don't know if you guys really care about that. And then they also came out with a sponge that was $15, and I'll go all into this because I get super picky on sponges, and this is what it looks like. It says Dose of Colors at the bottom. It's so like little, like you can see it yourself, but on camera, I don't know if you're going to be able to really make that out, but it's definitely there. For the foundation, it says on the site, our lightweight medium to full coverage foundation delivers a blurring effect which reduces the appearance of fine lines and skin imperfections. Boom, straight to the point, not this whole, you're going to live your life, live your best life, and you're going to blah, blah, blah. You know how sometimes it goes into like this full paragraph, but it's basically just repeating itself? I like how they just got straight to the point. It's lightweight, it's medium to full coverage, and it's going to give you a blurring effect. Who doesn't like that? Because I really like that. Now, I don't have any live footage. I actually was taking it, and when I was looking at it, I honestly got bored, so I figured I'm just gonna, when I have good live footage that I think is like really worth it. By the way, I'm putting the Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer on because, little tip, you gotta properly prep your skin for your skin type. So you really need to make sure that you know which primer is going to work for you. I tried multiple primers even on days that I wasn't too hot and not too oily, and it really didn't work out. I'm going to say that right now, just because I have been testing it out and I know it works. So the Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer is the one that worked with this foundation. Yeah, my skin, like I said, is pretty oily, so I've been pretty generous with this. Usually I don't like go too ham on primer. I just want like a nice, you know, barrier, but lately I've been needing it. See, it already helped mattify my skin and just kind of fill in those pores. Love a pump. I just feel like a pump is so necessary these days. When there's not a pump, I'm just like, why? I'm gonna lift my hand just so you can see how liquidy the formula is. As you can see, it's not like running down. It definitely isn't too thick where it's just staying like a blob. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pump 123 just so you can see that shade right there. So here's 120 and here is 123, just so you can see what I picked out. So as you can see, 120 is warm, but it almost looks like it could be like a nice neutral. This one for sure is a warm shade. When I place it, I will say 123 looks a little bit on the orange side on its own, which is why I really love this one, because it's more, it'll neutralize this one. So I definitely have to mix and it creates my perfect shade. So now I'm just gonna go into some dabs of 123, a little bit of 120. Going to the sponge, I will say I absolutely love the tip on this baby. It is super, super pointy, and I'm gonna show you why I love it. Now I'm just gonna blend this out. So when I place the foundation right now, even though I dotted it, it kind of looks like a lot, it really isn't. And I feel like this is like the perfect foundation for like a natural medium look, and then it totally is buildable. You can see one layer of the foundation. Again, I didn't put a ton. This is more on like the natural side, and it feels weightless. Basically just evened out my skin. I have like more hyperpigmentation and discoloration on this side, and then I'll make sure to go ahead and do another layer just so you can see how this looks when it's more full coverage. What I love about this foundation is that it's not one of those ones where once you place it on your face, you have to like hurry up and blend it out. I like that it gives you time to work with it. That's always like a big gripe of mine. If like a foundation dries too fast, it's just not my favorite. So see, I had some discoloration on this side and just gives like a really nice even complexion. Nothing that's like overly done. Okay, so I went ahead and let the foundation kind of set, and it doesn't have too much of a tacky feel. And I also just noticed my headband kind of matches with my little aloha picture. The light's hitting it, but it says aloha to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and do one other light layer just because I think it's pretty much showing what it can do. I don't wanna like cake it up too much because one, it's unnecessary, and I was trying to think of it too, but I can't. So I'm just gonna put it directly on the sponge. And even though you let the foundation kind of set, you see how it's still blending out really nice. It's not like a super flat matte, which I like. It still has some sort of, you know, life to it. It's not so flat. I still feel like I'm alive and not like, oh. Blends out really easy and doesn't have flashback, and it does not oxidize on me, which I'm really happy because I feel like a lot of foundations I've been trying out have just been oxidizing, and this one stays its shade, no oxidization whatsoever. I swear when I do concealer, I just feel like a new person. Concealer probably is like my favorite part of makeup because it's just like, what? I feel like I look a little more on the orangey side. I could have added a little bit more of 120, but once I do the rest of my makeup, trust me, it balances out. FYI, I also blended out the foundation with the sponge dry. I love using a dry sponge. It's just more my preference. And I love this one because it's super duper squishy, almost like it is wet. So pointy. So I will be so sad like this ever rips when you're cleaning it. So you got to be careful. Look at that. It gets like right in that tip, that tear duct area, just to hit that without disturbing anything. Right at this point, because it's so pointy, I can go right underneath my liner, clean it up. That's another reason why I love it. And reason 527 why I love it is that when I'm blending up to my lash line, this is an issue I have. When I have another sponge and it's more rounded and not as precise and pointy, I feel like my eyes just went cross-eyed. It goes right into my lash line where it's almost hitting my lash line for me, and it's not gonna go into my waterline, and it's hitting that whole area because you know how you get like, you wanna get the foundation like right by the lash line to get any darkness or anything like that. Just make it nice and even. This point like hits right like the lash line so perfectly, so I really appreciate it. It's probably like one of my new favorite sponges. I love it so much I would purchase it again, and that's saying a lot because I'm pretty picky with sponges. So this is what the foundation looks like. So see, once I have like all my makeup and everything all done, it looks really, really nice. It matches. Like I said, I did have to combine 120 and 123. Overall, what do I think about the foundation after trying it for 1 week? Is it a Whoop or is it a Womp? What do you think I'm gonna say? Well, I will say is day one, it was a big womp on me. I used the Maybelline Blur Primer and I thought it separated, it didn't last long, and I didn't feel like my primer was really ready for a foundation like this. It looked so beautiful when it first applied, like right now, and then within the rest of the day, it was hot and I was like, ooh. Then also day two, I was kind of like, okay, let's try out a different primer. The Tatcha primer also worked really well. Not as good as the Smashbox, I will say that. I feel like this one was the best one, but it did work much better. But then I noticed I was wearing a white Adidas t-shirt and it did have transfer on it, and I was a little bit sad at that, so it is not transfer proof. And then on day three, I absolutely loved it once I used it with the Smashbox, and then day four, I tried again with the Smashbox, loved it, and that's when I kind of figured out a way to really enjoy the foundation, how I loved it. Okay guys, so now it comes down to the review portion. The first day that I used this foundation, I used the Maybelline primer and I absolutely hated it. It broke apart, it didn't last, I was a greasy mess, it was horrible. It transferred all over my shirt and I was honestly pretty like disappointed. I was like, wow, I can't believe like I spent so much on shipping to overnight this and got 2 shades and this is what I get. Then on the second day I was like, all right, let's give it another chance. You never know. Let's try the Tatcha primer. And then I remember that primer also worked as well, but not as good as the Smashbox, and I had a little bit better of an experience. I definitely was blotting and powdering my face because it was super hot. FYI, most of the days that I was trying out the foundation, it was pretty warm. And then for the third or fourth day, I started using the Smashbox, and that's when I was like, yes, working. I just got to properly find the right primer, prep my skin well, and that's what I had to do in order to make the foundation work. And that happens for a lot of foundations. Like say for instance, you want a matte look, but you're not going to use like a luminous primer. Once I started using Smashbox, it was really, really good. Did I still have to blot? Yes, I had to blot within a couple hours, but that's very natural for someone who's oily like myself. If you are oily, you already know. You got to be prepared to blot within the day. If you don't, and you are blessed, like seriously, you are so lucky. But if you have more dry skin, I feel like this really wouldn't be bad on your skin. I think a lot of different skin types can wear this. You just have to properly prep. Now, if you are someone where you're super mega oily, I don't think this would be like the best foundation because it's not the most mattifying. So I'm going to say that. Other thing I didn't like was how it was transferring. It was transferring onto my clothes and stuff like that. But overall, like the performance of the foundation, how it works and how I got it to work, I'm going to give it a whoop. I don't know if that sounds maybe crazy or not, but I think it looks really beautiful. I love it with one layer. That's how I plan on wearing it. That is it for my review. Let me know if you plan on trying it out. I think it's actually a really beautiful foundation for their first launch. I am very impressed because sometimes I just see foundations launch and it's just like, wow, crash and burn. And this one I think was done really well. Let me know down below if you guys have picked it up already and tried it out, what your skin type is and what your experience was. Haven't seen any reviews because I don't like to watch reviews because then it just kind of like steers you a different way. So I'm about to go watch some reviews right now to see how people reacted and if they reacted like me, if they have dry skin and they love it, if they have oily skin they love it. I feel like if you're like super, super, super oily, I don't think you're going to appreciate this foundation. Not appreciate it, but it just wouldn't work out for you. So that's the only thing I would say. All right, my pineapples, I'm going to get going. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Whoop or Womp. Don't forget to leave me some love down below. Check out my previous videos. I will leave my last video right here. Go ahead and check it out. I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget my vlog channel is WhatWouldLizzyVlog and my Instagram is WhatWouldLizzyDo. Mwah! Whoop, whoop.